Hello everyone, my name is Jordan, also known as X-3, and today I want to show you guys how to create this Freddy synth. Last week I was talking about how to create it but didn't have time. This week, if I have time after this, I want to show you guys how to create the crystal wobble. Anyways, so let's get to it. This is a demo showing it off, so yeah. Okay, so that's basically the Freddy synth is this purple lane, and it sounds like this. And in order to create this synth, I'm just gonna create it over here very quickly because it's not a very complex synth. So all you want to do is throw in a Thor, and then we're gonna throw in some effects after this. But for Thor, I'm going to take my first oscillator to a wavetable. And this basic analog needs to be changed to 10 sines. The position will be perfectly fine where it is. Just take it down 1 octave and run it through filter 1. Make sure filter 1 is at bypass. So for the second oscillator, we're going to change this to a basic analog, and we're going to change this to a sine wave. We're also going to take this down 2 octaves in order to create that sub. It's not very exciting right now because we need to do some modification. So some of those modifications are turning on the LFO's key sync and the tempo sync. For the tempo sync, we want to set this to 6/4. And we're going to also enable, actually that's it for the LFO one. We're also going to turn on our delay, take the time right down. I think the time we use is maybe 15.7 milliseconds. We want to give this delay a little bit of stereo effect on the Thor. We're going to take the dry wet up a little bit more. And that's basically it. We're going to take the feedback down a bit. Okay, next we're going to go to the amp envelope. I'm going to leave the decay where it is, but throw up the sustain all the way to the roof. Next, bring your release time up to about 256, somewhere around there. And your attack, bring that up a little bit more than 256. So about 274 for that. So we get kind of like an attack, more like a pad, so we're almost there. The last 2 steps we need to do, or actually 3 steps, are we're going to run our filter 1 through this shaper, and we're going to set it to wrap. Next, I'm going to change my filter envelope to match the pattern I have on my other one, so the decay is down pretty low, somewhere around 122 Hertz. I know this is pretty boring, but it's well worth the wait. Next, bring your attack up to 343. Throw your sustain almost all the way to the roof. And your release, you want to bring that right down to 349 milliseconds. Next, what we want to do is choose for our source bus down here, our LFO1. Then you want to throw the amount all the way 100 on our oscillator 2, or I'm sorry, oscillator 1 POS position. And we get sort of like that Freddy wobble. In order to make it more pronounced, here come the effects. So for the effects, we're going to choose pulverizer. I'm going to turn up my squash a bit to make it sound louder. And the dirt will add it some grit. Next, I'm going to basically turn on my tremor, turn on the spread, and make sure this amount, this volume amount, is at like 2%. Very, very small changes. But it gives it a slight wobbleness to it. Next, we're going to throw on from the creative effects scream for distortion. All we're going to do is take the damage down to about 41, a little bit below this third notch, and we're going to set it to tube. I'm going to turn my P1, let's see, this is actually very specific. I'm going to turn my P1 up to 88. And at P2, I'm going to leave this at 45. Turn on your body, set your scale and your auto to 64 or somewhere in the middle, as close as you can get it, and set it to type E. I found scale E to be actually the cleanest cabinet type. Next, you want to throw on your maximizer. Turn on your soft clip, take off your limiter, put your soft clip amount to 124 or 127. And there's basically your Freddy synth. Now, let me see if I have time. It's only been 6 minutes, so I want to make this a complete video. So I'm going to show you guys how to create this crystal wobble. I'm going to solo the crystal wobble so that you guys can hear it in tune with the synth and the drums. So here we go. This is what this sounds like. Now it looks pretty complex, but it's actually not. I just wanted 2 dry knobs and a wet knob to control the different balances between the two. So what we're going to do is create a combinator, keep everything nice and tidy, and we're going to throw in a blank instance of subtractor. So subtractor is cool because you can subtract different waveforms from each other with different modes to get a different way of sounds. Anyways, so I'm going to change my first mode from let me take off solo too, so that way we can hear this. I'm going to take my first waveform and leave it there, but I want to change this to a positive algorithm, also known as this little X multiplier, this little tiny one. Anyways, we're going to take this down 2 octaves. We're going to throw our type to low pass 24, and we're going to set the keyboard knob all the way up. For the oscillator too, you want to make sure it's on, and you want to make sure it's at a neutral algorithm, this minus. Set it to a sine wave, so go up 4, take it down 2 octaves, and make sure your FM is set to 38. It creates this nice sharp stab. So what we're going to do at the amp envelope is throw our decayed sustain all the way up, so we don't lose any volume over time. So the second thing we're going to do is go over to our LFO2, change it to the amp, and you want to set the rate of your LFO2 to 97. And we're going to set the amount to 100%, and you want to throw up your keyboard follow all the way as well. Now for the fun part. Throw on your LFO1 by enabling it here, and you want to take this to 1/16, the amount all the way to full, and you want to make sure this is the frequency, filter frequency. So LFO2 is modulating the amp, the entire sound, and it's making it wobble. What we're doing with the first LFO is we're wobbling this filter. So we have 2 wobbles going over our entire synth. It's pretty cool, but you can get variations with the LFO2 rate. So I'm actually going to leave this back to where it was, which was at 98. Anyways, so that's the sound. In order to create it a little bit more pronounced, I want to throw in my RV7000 advanced reverb and just take the dry wet and the decay down to about 20%. Next, I'm going to throw in a pulverizer, and pulverizer is great because it just squashes the sound nicely. So throw that up to 30%. Next, throw on your M-Class stereo imager. You want to throw your low band all the way to mono, so that way it doesn't mess with any of the subs, and you want to widen your high band to basically about 30 or 35. Next, you want to throw on your MC Class maximizer, take it off limiter, but before we finalize this synth, in between this, I'm going to throw in Scream 4. Now Scream 4 is great to just achieve the minorest details. So I'm going to take this to tape, set the damage to about 32, somewhere around there. I'm going to take P1 all the way up to 86, and P2, I'm going to take this all the way to about 40 or 45. This creates a nice squash. So basically what I'm going to do is take the release on my maximizer to auto, turn on the soft clip, and set the soft clip amount to full. If it's still a little low for your liking, you can always turn up the master on the Scream 4 or just throw on the input. So 5 decibels to raise this should be fine. So I thought this 2 synths would be a good video for today's Saturday video. Tomorrow I'm going to be showing you guys probably some synth structure or maybe some song structure. I don't know, it's up in the air for now. Anyways, thanks for following me. If you like this video, be sure to hit a like. And if you want to contribute something, you can always leave a comment below. I read all of them. You're not left out. Anyways, tomorrow I will be releasing another refill pack. I'm sorry I didn't preference last week, but last week, that refill, it's basically a zip file of all the different combinator patches, since that would be pretty easy to use rather than downloading a refill and then opening that up, and it's just a whole big mess. So yeah, I want to say thank you guys so much. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe for more, and I'll check you guys out tomorrow. Have a good one, and peace. Oh yeah, one final thing before I close out. I'm going to be posting another Minecraft video on my other channel, so if you want to check out some of the techniques or actually what I talk about for all the rest of this stuff, it's purely just for entertainment. Anyways, be sure to check that out as well. Thanks for joining, and I wish you guys the best of luck. See you tomorrow. Peace.